That is, I'll go ahead and start, and then we'll just go through the members who are here. We'll throw it one to another, and then, yes, Glenn, can you hear me? And then from there, I'll come back up and wrap up, and if we've got time, we might do a few questions at that point. So I think everyone understands pretty clearly that there is a crisis on the southern border. Some of our friends across the aisle are in disagreement with that. Secretary Mayorkas does not think the border is open. He thinks that he has operational control, although the the Secure Fence Act of 2006 clearly defines what operational control of a border is, and that means that no contraband or individual can come in the country illegally. And yet, under his watch, Secretary Mayorkas has allowed in approximately 5 million illegal aliens coming through, and that doesn't include gotaways. So I'm going to make a case briefly, as only I can. I shouldn't say that. I mean, when I say briefly, it'll probably be longer than briefly, but I'm going to go as quickly as I can and try to make some points when people say to me, why Secretary Mayorkas? And I will tell you why. First of all, when we look at intentionality, this is done intentionally. This is not negligence. It is not by accident. It is not incompetence. And how do we know that? Well, just like we would look at a culpable mental state, like intentionality or knowledge, we look at a totality of circumstances. So the first thing, let's look at policies. What were the policies that were in place before Secretary Mayorkas came? Build the fence, finished building the wall. He stopped that. Used the Remain in Mexico policy, the MPP program. They said no. In fact, they sued to get out of that program. Title 42, we were in the middle of an epidemic. They stopped that or slowed it down. They didn't ever stop it. They slowed it down significantly. But now they're stopping in 2 months' time. They prohibited ICE from removing people who had already been here in this country, millions of people, who had due process and had removal orders. He ordered them to stop removing those individuals. And we had the lowest number of deportations in 2021, well below even President Obama's levels of 59,000. And he re-implemented a catch and release program, typified above by the abuse of the parole statutes. Parole is meant to be a case-by-case basis, limited use for being in the country. He himself admits that in testimony before the Senate Judiciary Committee. And yet he is granted mass parole status. Last year, over 300,000. He's got a new program designed just for 4 nations, Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela, that'll bring in up to 360,000 people for parole in those 2 programs alone. He has allowed the non-detained docket to grow to approximately 5 million people. It's just under 5 million people right now. He created new categories for ICE priorities. That's just in the policy segment. Now, I'm going to let other people talk, and I will then, when I come back up, I'll finish off why this is obviously intentional. I'll talk about his statements that he's made. I'll talk about the numbers and how those relate to this, and I'll talk about the ongoing programs that he's putting in place to facilitate illegal immigration. That's why I say Secretary Mayorkas must be impeached. The founders said that you have impeachment for high crimes and misdemeanors. That's constitutional. And they defined high crimes. They didn't say you had to be convicted of a felony. What they said is you have a public official who has violated public trust. And there's nobody who typifies that more, in my opinion, than Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. I'm going to throw it to my friend, who's also, we're co-sponsoring each other's impeachment resolutions. And that would be the Honorable Pat Fallon from Texas. Pat, you're up. Thank you.